folks, as I was saying, the birth chart is a snapshot of where the sun, moon, and all the other planets were at the exact moment of your birth. Now, Carl Jung used to say, everything that's born or happens within a moment has the characteristics of that moment. So, for example, if I throw a die and it comes up with the number 3, that means 3 was the moment. 3 was the number of the moment. And the way you really see that this works is with tarot cards, because sometimes you pull something and you're like, wow, this describes exactly how I'm feeling, right? That's what the tarot's all about. So anyway, the snapshot of the sky is really the moment of your birth. That's really what's happening in the stars and in the planets and how they relate to the constellations. So now looking at this, I've really simplified it for you. This is the birth wheel, okay? It's the birth chart. And here you can see it's just a circle, 360 degrees, separated by 12 slices. I'm sorry, I forgot I was supposed to do something for the slice shop. I should explain to my viewers, my brother, he owns Sal Slices upstairs, and I think I was supposed to let him out of the freezer. Anyway, we'll keep going, okay? And maybe I'll get someone to help me with that later. Okay, so each one of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, these are what we call houses. Okay? Like this, just think of that. It's a house. Each house has a specific meaning in astrology. Sorry, I'm just thinking about my early childhood home and how miserable it was, But they always say it's never too late to have a happy childhood. Sometimes I feel it's like it's too late for me, but anyway, we're going to carry on. So here I've plotted out that this eye, the thing that looks right here, this is the sun, and this right here, you guessed it, it's the moon. So these can be placed in a specific house, okay? And that means, the moon is in the 6th house. Where's the sun? It's in the 3rd house. That's right. So what does that mean, you might ask me? Well, why don't we start talking about the meaning of each house, okay? That way we can better describe what these planets mean and indicate in our own chart. Okay, let's say, for example, number 1, what is the 1st house about? And it's really just the way that you perceive the world. It's identity. It's sort of how you wear what the French call a visage. I think that means, mask. And that's kind of the mask that you respond to the world with. I remember when I was a kid, I wore a mask for a play. And I was really excited because I got to play the lion in Wizard of Oz. And I had to wear this big, frankly, it was kind of scary, this lion mask. And I always seen myself as a kid as being a lion, but my dad, he just looked at me and he just said, I didn't fool anybody. I was just a pansy, and he couldn't believe that he could believe I was such a good actor that I was acting like the cowardly lion. He said it really suited me a lot because I was a real coward in everything I did, and I was a complete failure. And to this day, I don't think he's ever apologized, but that doesn't matter. Number 1, so that's the face that you approach the world with. Number 2, okay, this is what we ascribe value to. So imagine a little baby, he came out of the womb, he's like, who am I? What am I? He's not really self-aware. And then he starts touching around, he starts feeling things, he starts squeezing things, you know what I mean? And he starts to relate to the environment, okay? So a lot of ways, the 2nd house represents money, because that's what our society values. And, a person like me who doesn't put, value on money, but value on knowledge and connection to people is treated like shit because I don't actually have anything to my name. And I'm probably going to die poor, and that's just the way it goes. But it doesn't mean that I'm not happy with my value. Maybe just society hasn't come around yet to valuing someone like me, because I bring value to the society, but they don't even realize it yet. So it's a kind of nobody wants to budge. So that's the second house, okay, and that's what you place value on. And a lot of people like to, if they have a heavy second house placement, that means a lot of planets in there. That means they might be someone who really cares about money, or wants to acquire, trinkets and fancy cars and things like this. Now the third house, and this is where we have this beautiful sun right here, is the house of communication. And, it also represents the house of siblings. I have a terrible relationship with both of my siblings. We don't get along at all. They hate me and I hate them. One of them is a very successful guy. I think he's a very heavy second house kind of person. He's given up all his morals and his ethics for Wall Street, but that's his choice. I ain't judging him. I just think he's a terrible person. And number three, that's the way you communicate with your siblings. And unfortunately for me, I don't have any communication with my siblings at all. We just don't talk. So what happens when the sun is there? That means that this person values communication a lot. And, I know I've bogged you down with a lot of things. So here we covered the first three, okay? Identity, value systems, and three, communication. And short-term travel as well. Like the time I got my foot run over by the school bus because they didn't see me. So that's an example of the third house issue, which I have a lot of. I have a lot of issues in my third house. I don't know if you could tell. Why don't we take a little break and we'll be right back.